Welcome to the Traitors Online.
It's the ultimate game of trust and deception.
Over the next few weeks, 20 players from all across the UK are going to battle it out to become the ultimate winners of this competition.
To hopefully win this incredible game.
At night, the traitors will murder the faithfuls. It's the faithfuls' job to find out who the traitors are. Get them before they get you.
At the end of the game, if any traitors are left, they win it all.
Welcome to the Traitors. Right. I think we're there. I am live. Hello, everybody. I am Team Sensation Kyle, and welcome back to the Traitors Online After Dark. The penultimate one by now, so you think I'd be used to streaming, but clearly we are not. Now, I am not solo tonight. I am joined by a special guest. Please welcome Kalpik.
Hello.
Hello, Kalpik. How are you today?
Yeah, not bad. How are you?
Good, thank you. So, obviously, you were murdered in the last episode. How did?
Yep. I like it felt like falling on the last hurdle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just in the but I did well for myself. I think because I just don't want to be the first one to go out, and then and I went far. So yeah, I think really did good, but yeah, couldn't finish it in the end.
Yeah. Before we carry on, if you have any questions for Kalpik, make sure to drop them into the chat. So, obviously, you lasted quite a while. In that time, you saw out 3 traitors? Yeah, 3 traitors. How does it feel every
Yes.
time you get out a traitor?
Yep, that was the amazing feeling because that was the end goal to find traitors. But in the end, few sneaked out, and then when I was kicked out after that, the whole game changed, and
Yeah.
it wasn't what we expected
Mhm.
because it was actually Dougie who messed up everything for us.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, despite the fact you got out 3 traitors, you also did lose a lot of faithfuls. How does it feel every time you lose one of your own?
That was a hard feeling because that was the traitor's plan to so that we just lose one of our own and think they are the traitors. So it wasn't easy, but they were playing good game at that time
Yeah.
because we were in the beginning we are not able to catch them. So yeah, we were really upset every time.
So at one point then, Sharon had to choose between you and Dougie, and who she trusted. She said she trusted Dougie more than she trusted you. How was that
Yep.
for you?
Yeah, that at that point in time, I was just thinking what is going on, and then I had to go in the room to prove myself.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a great feeling, but then yeah, in the end we got through. So yeah, it was good.
In the end, though, I think that kind of also again contributed to your murder because everybody then said actually they trust you.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I think traitors were scared of.
Yeah. Obviously, then you had that kind of decision to either self-banish, or to actually place yourself on trial. Was that a difficult decision for you to make, or were you just desperate to kind of stay in a bit longer?
No, it wasn't a difficult decision because I had to prove myself. So, it was better to fight for it rather than just give up. So that's why I thought, let me, go and at least prove myself because I knew I'm right. So that gave me that confidence going into that room.
Okay, so kind of a few rounds in, there was that game where you had to kind of say who you trusted. Sorry, not in there. I'm getting the wrong thing. There was that game where you kind of you had a question, you had to say who best fit the description, like who is most ruthless and stuff like that. How was that for you?
That was just what was going on through my mind that time. So I was just, being honest and saying like, whatever is going on at that time. But thing was, I was like never picked for any right reason. So yeah, it was a bit upset as well at the same time.
Now there's a question for you from Catherine, and she said, "What made you join the show?"
Join the show because I like the show, and I just joined the group, and then there was this post from, I think, someone where they were like they're doing this online traitor thing, and I was free at that time, so I thought let me just give it a shout and see
Yeah,
how does it feel to be in a, like, online reality show. I never did it before.
yeah, that's a good answer. So that's kind of it, really. That's all questions that I've got.
Yeah.
So my final question to you really is: despite all the twists and all the turns, are you glad that you took part?
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely. I'm glad, and I met some great people, so I
yeah,
will be like, yeah, friends with them. So,
yeah,
yeah, it was a good experience.
yeah.
Like, I don't regret doing it, so it was good.
Perfect. One more quick question actually is kind of during your time in the show, who were you most suspicious of?
I was suspicious of David as well, but then when Mark went out, nobody suspected David, and he played a good game, and just deflected us from him. So yeah,
Yeah,
I was suspecting him, but every time you talk, you do things, and then your mind changes like 10 times in a day.
yeah.
So yeah, so that what it was. So yeah,
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for popping on, Celtic. It's been lovely to talk to you. All right.
same guys. All right,
Bye bye.
you take care.
Bye bye. We've had a quick chat with Celtic. I froze for a second there. Honestly, this stream is all over the place tonight. Um, so thank you so much to Celtic for popping on there. Now banishment. Morag left the game. She was banished after they thought she was a traitor. She can't be with us tonight. She's feeling a little bit under the weather, and she's got a big concert tomorrow. But I have pre-filmed a little interview with her, which I'll play for you now. All right. Okay. So now I'm just going to talk through kind of a couple of the big plot twists and some of the big moments happening in the game, and I just like your reaction to them, really. So obviously, first round table, you banished Dan, so you banished the traitor in the first go. How did it feel to get one out so soon?
Oh, just so lucky and such a thrill that having seen on TV when it took them loads of votes to find one. To find one first time was just fantastic. But then actually he wasn't so hard to find because how he behaved and what he said really sort of gave him away. And I'd have been really disappointed if he wasn't a traitor. So it was great, but sort of predictable.
Yeah. All right. And then obviously, following on from that, a couple of rounds in, some new people joined. How did you think that changed the group dynamic?
Um, I think for those of us who'd already been in the group from the beginning, we had already formed some bonds and linked in as a group, formed relationships, and so having new people for us wasn't really difficult. It was just lovely to see a couple of new faces who were obviously keen on playing the game and welcome them in. But you could see that it was tough for them, that there was us, a group of over 15 people or so, as an established group, and they had to find their way in it. And you could see that that was tough for them.
Yeah. Okay. So a few more episodes in, Mark was banished. Were you there for that actually? I don't think you
No.
were. No. That's fine then. I'll have to skip that one. I forgot that you weren't there for that bit. So
Was that the one when they picked numbers and he went
yeah.
out? Yeah. No.
I guess I can get almost like a retrospective on it. How did it feel knowing that he had been banished in such a cruel way?
Sad really that that just with a pick of a number, it's like a flip of a coin, a 50-50, pick a number, one or two, and that decides your fate. So that's a shame, but it's a cruel game. That's the nature of it. So and then for me personally, I was just sorry that I didn't see it happen, but relieved that I escaped having to do it.
Yeah. Okay, so the past couple of rounds in, we have got rid of Debbie and we've got rid of EJ. How does it feel getting rid of two traitors in a row and sort of knowing that they were lying all along?
Fantastic to have got rid of 2 in a row. Really great results. Very happy with that. I think both of the. I was certainly suspicious of Debbie a bit before her name ever came up, because one week I voted for her when everyone else voted for Marissa. So I always suspected Debbie, and many of us were suspect of Ethan too. So again, it was a bit like if we'd all voted for them and they hadn't been traitors, we'd have been disappointed. And starting to feel it's getting towards the end of the game and there's fewer players now. So if we don't get traitors now, then we're stuffed.
Yeah. So obviously, even though we've got 3 traitors out, we have lost a lot of faithfuls along the way through murder and through banishment. How does it feel when you lose a faithful and the group gets smaller, especially when you're really close to everybody in that group?
Yes, it's difficult because, as I say, we are now friends. We're a group of friends and we formed relationships, and it was easier in a big group because you weren't quite so friendly with everyone, so that if you could vote for somebody without feeling too guilty and they could go, and the relationship wasn't so strong. But now we're quite a tight group and we have to suspect everybody. There's nobody you can trust. You think you've got a couple of allies in the group, which I have, but I'm only 99% sure they're faithful, or maybe less. So it's really testing relationships. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So are you glad that you've done it even after all the twists and turns? Are you glad that you've joined the game?
Oh, fantastic! It's just the experience of a lifetime. I mean, short of going on the TV, and I don't think I'd want to do it on TV, knowing now how stressful and pressured it is. I wouldn't want to do it in front of cameras. So to have had this opportunity to do it myself for real is just wonderful. Yeah, experience of a lifetime.
Before we do though, since the last time I spoke to you, there was that little game where you guys were all asked the questions about each other and you had to vote who you thought fit that. What was your reaction to that game?
Sorry, is this the game when we were in teams and went into the breakout room?
Yeah, that one.
I thought that was really excellent because if it was another way of us to see who trusts who thinks what of who thinks who's gullible, who thinks who might win, which could give us insight into other people. I don't know if it did give us insight, but it was a good way of getting people to talk about that. Yes.
And then moving straight on to your banishment, how did it feel to leave the game?
I saw it coming from the chat today and from what happened on Wednesday night. I knew I'd put a big target on my back because on Wednesday night I had a shield so I could vote for anyone I wanted to. I decided to vote for Lisa just to see the look on her face when I voted, see if it would give anything away. But sadly for me, Dougie also voted for Lisa. So everyone just thought, oh, if Dougie's a traitor, Morag is as well, because she's voted the same way. I tried to explain to them on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and they had nothing else to go on. It is really hard at the moment. There isn't much evidence or much to go on for who's a traitor. So anything like that just gives them a reason to think, oh, Morag's a traitor, let's vote for her. Not everyone voted for me, and that's nice. Sharon had a few votes too. So it's nice that it wasn't a whitewash or whatever the word is. But yeah, so but I'm really, I mean, I got to the semi-final. I've lasted a long time. So hey, yeah, all good.
Yeah. Okay, so my final thing then for you this evening is, who are you most suspicious of?
My number one suspect is Sarah. She was absolutely poker faced tonight. Everyone else, when we were doing whatever we were doing, and I can't remember now, we were discussing things, the open discussion about who's a traitor and things. Everyone else, when they were challenged, when they were talking, they all seemed to be natural and open. And even when Kath got challenged, she was being natural and open. But Sarah sat there, absolutely still, absolutely poker-faced, tense. And I just thought, that's guilt. You're not being open and honest. You're covering yourself.
And then, how many traitors do you think there are left?
Well, you see, it could be 2. We don't know how many you've recruited or when you recruited. We know there's 1, but I suspect you might have given them a companion, so it could be 2. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for just popping on again quickly. It's been lovely to talk to you again, and
Thank you.
Soon.
Sorry, I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Big thanks for the chat room, because I felt shit when I'd been banished, and when I went into the other group, they were all saying hello, welcome, and that just felt lovely. So thank you.
That's all right. Okay, I'm gonna dash off, but thank you for popping on.
Thank you for everything.
All right, bye bye. Well, there you have it, a little chat there with Morag. And that is all we've got time for tonight, I'm afraid. We'll be back tomorrow night, straight after the final of the Traitors, to debrief with as many finalists as possible and discuss just what goes down. Until then, I've been Kyle, as always. Thank you so much for watching After Dark, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.